Hello and welcome to Hallo. My name is Teacher Johnny, and I apologize that we could not connect on Monday. Today is Tuesday, on Monday for our class. So my computer was all set up for the class, but my camera was not recognized. You could still hear me because I was on my headphones, but the camera was not being recognized. So I'm hoping that with tomorrow's class, they gave me some tips to unplug my external camera. So I have an external camera up here. To unplug that, and that then hopefully the internal camera will take over. So I'm going to get that tested tonight and hope it works. If not, I will have a backup notebook computer for our class. So I just wanted to say who I was and introduce myself and go through the information that we covered. So everyone got kicked out except for Crystal. So Crystal and I were still in the class, and I didn't know you couldn't get back in. I wasn't sure what was going on. Now I know, and we've all discussed this as teachers, to maybe end our live stream and just make sure everyone is out and then restart it and you just all come back in. Because when it kicked you out, except for Crystal, it stopped recording. And so there's no recording of our lesson. So you will normally be able to see a recording. You can go back and watch a recording, double check things that we've worked on, look at it again. You can actually move it to the time you want to see and everything. So that's what it would normally do. So tomorrow we should have a class that works normally. So in the meantime, I'm going to go over this material with you. My name, like I said, is Teacher Johnny, and I just want to introduce myself in case because I didn't get to do that. So I am married and I live in the United States, and I have 4 children. My oldest child is 20, he will be 27 years old in October, and my youngest is 15. So I have 1 boy and 3 girls. My family also has an exchange student that's in an AFS program. It's afs.org, and they have students who come and live with host families in the United States for a year. Sometimes it's 6 months. Most of the time it's for a full school year for high school. So this year we are hosting a student from Japan. So what has been interesting is I found out from Crystal that when you have R, the letter R at the beginning of the word, you usually say le, la, la, la. So her name starts with an R, and in English, I would say Reina, but in your language, or in her language, Japanese language, she said you say the la, so it'd be leena, leena, leena. So that is something that if you would like me to help you work on the beginning R sound, it would be a R sound, like reina, rain, curriculum, instead of curriculum. That is something we can work on as well as we go through the class. And then also the sentences and talking spontaneously and how you do that. So which is the purpose of the OPIc. So I'm going to to show that to you in just a second. I wanted to explain my background. Okay, so sometimes I will have a curtain here to cover this, and I will close this so it's not a distraction. But this is what I do before I teach your class. So I teach many different children as well as adults. So before your class, I will be teaching for a company in China. I teach English as a second language right up until like 7:57 a.m. my time, and then your class starts at 8 a.m. my time. That's only this week. After this week, I took off those classes on Mondays and Wednesdays, so I have more time. So I'm not as rushed, and so I can make sure that everything is working like I thought it was working, but I could have tested and came in earlier if I'd known it wasn't going to work on Monday. So I apologize for that. So I also teach preschool online for a different company after our class. So that is what this is. So I teach the days of the week, and we go through the days, the letter, and we do all that, letter sounds, we draw letters, and I do that during the week too. So if I remember quickly, I will cover this, but if you see it, it's because I also teach preschool online. I want to be professional, but I'm going from one class to another class to another class. So I will be professional while we have our conversations. Okay, so, and I hope you like my classes. So I'm going to share my screen with you and talk about the OPIc and how we will run our class and what you can expect from me, since we didn't get to talk about that on Monday. Okay, all right, so I'm going to share now. So here we go. This one. Okay, give me just a second. Okay, so here we have the lesson from Monday. So we're going to talk about what the OPIc is and some things you need to remember. And I will also talk to you about how we will run the class so that you know what to expect. But I'm here to help you, okay? So if you get a little stuck, you can stop for a moment and say, just a moment, please. Or you can ask me to please repeat something. Okay, so what is the OPIc? What is it? So if you take the C off and just have OPI, each letter stands for something. In this case, it's oral proficiency interview. Proficiency means how well you do something. So instead of saying, we're going to take the oral proficiency interview computer test, which is a lot of words, they shortened it down and they just say the OPIc. And because it has the computer in parentheses, that means you're studying for the exam that would be on a Zoom meeting. That's what it's for. So that's, if whether you're doing it live or on Zoom, this is good practice no matter what, okay? But that's what that means in case you didn't know. So it's an oral test on how well you speak spontaneously. You can memorize parts of sentence structure, but we also want to make sure we're thinking we don't want to sound like we memorized everything, but you can definitely practice answers because it will help you think of other sentences that you can make. So in our course overview, week 1 on Monday, we talked about what is the OPIc. Okay, so starting tomorrow, we will go through descriptions, the questions that have to do with descriptions. How would you answer and describe something? Week 2, we will go through questions about likes and dislikes. And we will also talk about problems and change of plans. What do you do in situations like that? Lesson 5 in week 3, we will discuss changes over time. Lesson 6 will be random questions that will be asked. And then the last week, we will role play. So we will take turns and pretend I'm the one giving the test. You can give the exam and pretend you are the person doing it with other students. So in a class, when we have everyone here, I will ask you to read questions. So I might say, Crystal, please read question 1. And then I would have someone else read question 2. Like Leo, please read question 2. Hey Rim, please read question 3? Okay? And then for Huang, I don't know if I'm saying that right. I'm sorry. I need to practice it more. Maybe I would switch him to a different slide, or we can ask him a question. So everyone will get a chance to speak and get comfortable. Okay? And I will help you if you need help with pronouncing a word, or if you have a question about what something means, you can ask. You can just ask me, and then we will talk about what it means so you understand and you're not confused. Okay? All right, so in lesson 1, we were talking about getting to know you. Your name, where you are from, why you are taking this course, and when are you planning on taking the OPIc. So I was able to talk about that with Crystal. I don't know if you were able to talk about that in your group chat. So maybe we will cover that a little bit tomorrow. I will ask you, did you get to talk with each other? Because I'm interested in you as well. So I didn't get to hear that because we got kicked out. So maybe if we can I'll look at the material, we can get in there and we can look at it and then see how long it might take. But I definitely want to know your name and make sure I'm saying it correctly. Pretty sure you're all from South Korea. But why are you taking this course? And then when are you planning to take the OPIc? Or is this just practice? So if you want to prepare yourself for that question, for me to ask it, that would be awesome. And then here is the test format. So here we go. We're getting into the test format. So there's different parts to the OPIc test. From what I've heard from others, they really like this test because it's oral only. You just have to do a speaking part, and it's about your interests. So it's mostly practicing that conversation, So there's 3 parts to it. There's going to be a setup, a background survey, and then 12 to 15 questions. So I think that's amazing that there's only 12 to 15 questions. But I do feel that with a lot of talking, it could take a while. But that's it, okay? So setup. Here is something to remember in the setup. So when we get to pages like this in our lesson, I will ask different people to read, to practice speaking, just to get comfortable speaking. When you log in to take your exam, you will be set up with a proctor through Zoom. They will start chatting with you and help you get your computer ready for the exam. Don't stress. This is not a part of the test. Make sure you read the email they send you when you sign up for the test. Okay, so a proctor is someone who is there to help you get ready for the test and to help guide you through the questions and to lead the questions. Okay, so when you first meet them, they will tell you when they will start. So they're just getting you ready. They're helping you get your computer ready. It's not part of the exam. So the first person you see is not part of the exam. So don't stress. They're just there to help you get ready. You will be sent an email. So Crystal has taken this before, and she does remember receiving something in an email to remind her about her test. So you want to make sure you read that and that you're looking for it. I think it's like a few days, maybe a week, like within a week. Just kind of check your email every day. If you don't have anything, 24 to 48 hours before your exam, I would definitely contact the exam place. Make sure they can resend the information or look in your spam folder. It's what we call the folder for email, where all the emails go that we didn't see. They just got put there, okay? Advice. They're saying here, when you start your exam, you can use the minimize button to remove the Zoom camera from the screen. So I have that right now. So you can see me. So when I am talking, I can see myself. So if I'm distracting myself, I can minimize. So if I click there's one little line. If you know, once you're there, they will walk you through this. If you want to practice it on a Zoom, you can. If I click it, then I disappear. You can still hear me, but I disappear. So that is up to you if you want to have your video on or off. Okay? It's really, your testing style. Do you feel it's better not to see yourself? Will that bother you? Or do you want to minimize yourself? Okay? Background survey. This is so important. You can access a demo at this link. So if you go to the first class that we did and you open up that, click on it, our first one, and then you will see the download materials. I think you have access to both. If you do not and you only get the homework, if you can let me know tomorrow, I can give you this link. I can put it in the chat. Okay? And then you can practice. There's like a way you can practice a lot of these things, getting ready, the background survey. So I looked at this and it's something I can also go through with you on a live if you need help walking through it. Okay? So just let me know if you did not open it or if you would need that link if you're not able to get it in the materials. Okay? So these are the exact questions they will ask you on the OPIc, which I think is amazing. So I think if I open this, let's see if this will share this. It says clear the link. I'm going to see. Ooh, look at that. Can you see it? It's kind of amazing. So if I go back and forth, we can toggle. So this is the link, and it has everything filled in, the username and the password. If I click login, it says meet Ava. She will be your interviewer and the new best friend during your test. Okay, and it will be tested on how well you speak English. Then you can click next, and you want to answer the background survey. What is so important about this is that you want to be truthful. You want to say exactly what your interests are because they will ask you questions based on what you selected. So don't lie. This is not a time to think, maybe I should select this one over here because it sounds more interesting, even if you've never done it. You only want to make sure you select things that interest you. Choose topics you are comfortable talking about. Okay? The survey will also ask you to state your speaking level. If you choose the lowest level, such as novice, you will not be able to score higher than intermediate low, even if you speak perfectly. So be honest in your rating. So if you think that you're an intermediate, you could fall as a low intermediate, like almost novice, or you could be a mid-intermediate, where you think you're speaking pretty well, or high intermediate, you're almost advanced. And we will talk about those levels in a second, okay? So here I am. It says, what best describes your field of work? So you know what? I think I'm just going to go through these really fast for the background survey because I'm not going to do the test. I'm just going to do this much, okay? Because you'll get to practice this if you follow that link as well. So what best describes your field of work? What do you do? Well, I'm a teacher educator, and let's see. So you can look at these questions. If you have a question about what any of these are, then ask me. What level do you teach? I think I can teach like continuing education, I would say. Am I currently working? Yes. How long have you been teaching? So if you notice, if you click, it takes other questions down. If I change this first one to a home-based business here, then it says, are you currently working? Yes. What best describes your work experience? So if you notice, based on what you select, you will get different questions, okay? So business, are you in a business or corporation? Are you currently working? What best describes your work experience? Is it your first job, less than 2 months? First job, more than 2 months, you've been there more than 2 months, or it's not my first job, I have more work experience. So when you do that, it will ask you other questions. So that's how the background survey works. So you want to make sure that you do all the questions you need to. So I'm going to click through. Am I currently working? Yes. I have been teaching for more than 2 months. Do I direct or manage people? Yes, I do. So I would click next. Are you currently going to school? I am not currently going to school. What best describes your last educational experience? Let's see. I would probably say continuing education to improve my skills. I'm constantly trying to figure out how to be a better teacher. Okay. All right. Where do you live? I live alone in a house or an apartment. I live with non-family members. I live with family members. I live with family members in a house or an apartment. So make sure you go through those. School dormitory or in a military. Okay. Select a total of at least 6 options. So here is where they will get a lot of their questions. So you want to pick 6 from this list. So, let's see. I like to go to the theater and go to the beach. One of my favorite things. I do play games with adults like board games and cards. I help children improve with school assignments. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. I like to go to museums and the parks. And I coach sports, and I also like to watch sports. Okay, so if I go down, what interest or hobbies do you enjoy? So now I think, do I have to pick 6 in each one? Yes, choose a total of 6 options across the various selections. Okay, wonder, that's so many. Look, there's so many. So I could keep going in this, but this gives you the idea. Then when I click next, it's going to take me to the self-assessment. Okay, so right now they're saying I've selected 7 items. So let me see what happens. 6. I wonder if I can do, here, I will just test this. Let's say go to the theater, play games, and let's just pick like 1, 2, 3. Let's see what this does. So I think Crystal could help me out. 3, 4, 5, 6. So if I pick at least 6, you can do more than 6. So let's see if I only have 5, what happens? Will it let me keep going? Oh, it won't let you keep going. So as soon as you hit 6 items across all of the choices, you can keep going. So you don't have to pick 6 just in one section. They just want you to pick at least 6 out of all of these choices, okay? And you can pick more than 6. But remember, the more you pick 2, they're going to ask you questions about all the different things you pick. So make sure you pick at least 6 of things you really like to do, and you can add 7 or 8 if you'd like to add some other ones. Does that sound good? So that's what we figured out from that test, okay? All right, so back to here. There are 6 different question types. So you will be asked questions about descriptions, likes and dislikes, change of plans, changes over time, random questions, and role play. We will practice each question type during each lesson of this course. None of the questions will be written. You will listen to the question and respond. Our advice is to practice the structures for each question type instead of memorizing entire answers. Then you are prepared for any question. So that's good to remember to memorize parts of things like phrases or parts of questions, right, or answers, so that you can get an idea of how you would answer it. What is the sentence structure that you would use? How is it rated? So we were talking about ratings. So there are 4 different ratings. Rating, different distinctions. That means differences, okay? There's 4 different distinctions that they rate, that they will do. Novice is the lowest level. Then you have intermediate, advanced, and at the top, superior. Within each of those distinctions, not superior, there are 3 different levels. You will have low, like low novice, mid novice, high novice. Okay? Same thing with intermediate and advanced. Low intermediate, mid intermediate, high intermediate. Now this would be like a test. If you took a test at school, you know how you get graded and you have low scores and then they go higher to your best score. It's sort of like that. So you might be borderline novice, not quite intermediate, or you might be intermediate, not quite advanced. Kind of think about where you fall, okay? And answer it truthfully so they know where to start in asking you questions. You remember, you don't want to just say novice. If you say novice, the highest score you can get is for intermediate low. Okay, so you want to think about that and think, where do I fall in here? Okay, and I would say, like with Crystal, I thought she was intermediate. So if they ask you if you're low, mid, or high intermediate, I think I would put her at mid intermediate. So when we're talking, we can help you by the end of the course know where you would fall and where you should probably, choose that right answer. And if you still have questions, we can see what we can figure out so that you will know what to answer. You can also be rated on a different scale that is more widely accepted in your country. You can read more about each of those levels here. So this link is also in here. So if you need any of these links, like I said, let me click over here. Now I can click on it. All right. So this is a different scale. It's just showing you, see, this is a little bit like it. We have novice low, novice mid, and then it goes up all the way to superior. So you can kind of see it's like a cone, like an ice cream cone. Okay, and your goal is to get to the top and get the ice cream. Okay, so we're going to work our way to that top so we can get some ice cream. All right, so you can also be, I just read that, sorry. The test is rated by 2 certified raters from ACTFL. They're certified raters whose separate ratings must match before a score is assigned. I think that's amazing. It's not just one person deciding your rating and your score. There's actually 2, and they listen to it and they score separately. They don't talk to each other, and then if they match, then you get to your score, because we want to make sure you get the most accurate and reliable score. That is amazing that they do that. I like how they have 2 people looking at your score. All right, so here are some tips to help you. Correct grammar, but not information. The raters do not care about the truthfulness of your answers. Now, we don't want you to lie on the survey, and we really shouldn't lie when we answer, but we need to answer something, right? We need to talk. So if you need to borrow from someone's experiences and create them as your own, you can do that. It says that right here. So if you cannot think of an experience for the question, you can make up an experience, or you can use someone else's story. Use a friend's experience, but pretend it's your own. But the big thing is, you don't want to start telling a story and then say, wait, that didn't happen like that. It should have been this way. Like, you don't want to backtrack in your story and fix your story. You only want to fix grammar. They want to know that when they're listening to you, when you hear the error, you can fix it. Like, you know you need to fix it. It's okay to stop and fix your grammar or correct it and then keep going, because that's telling them you understand that you didn't have the correct grammar to start with. Okay? Obviously, we want to practice and do the best we can with perfect grammar, but it doesn't always happen, even with native English speakers. But we will help you do what we can so that you get the best score possible that you can get. Okay? So if you need a second to think about an answer, don't say It's a bad habit. My daughter used to say like all the time if she couldn't think of something. So try not to say or anything else, or speak Korean. Don't go back and say anything like that. Give yourself a second. Give yourself a second. Don't stay silent, but you can say something like, wow, that's a good question. I need to think about that first. And maybe by the time you say that, you'll think of something. A lot of times I find if I take part of the question and turn it into a sentence for my answer, it helps me think of what to say, and it gets me talking. So I actually teach interview skills for like beauty pageants, like for girls who are in beauty pageants. And I start doing that with children as young as 5 years old. I teach them this same thing, how to take the judge's question and turn it into a sentence and then answer it and then explain why they answered it that way. All right, so here we go. We have a checkpoint quiz. How well do you think you will do? Okay. Will the setup with the proctor count towards your score? This is a checklist for you. Will the setup with the proctor count towards your score? Yes or no? What do you think? No, it does not. So if you answered no, you are correct. If you forgot, it's okay. That's why you're in this class, right? So it does not count. The setup part is when you first turn on and log into Zoom. They're going to help you get comfortable. It doesn't count. They're going to help you get ready. What should you do before the day you log in for your exam? What should you do? So we need to open our emails, okay? Check your email and follow all the directions. There might be last-minute information in there you need. About how long is the OPIc exam? How many questions was it? It wasn't very long. How many questions was it? Okay, it was 12. Let's see if you got it right. So I want you to try to guess the answers or say the answers like to me. I can't hear you because it's a recording, but try to answer it. Oh, 12, not 12 to 15 minutes. Try to answer the questions, and then I will give you the answer because we're not in class together, okay? So it's 12 to 15 questions long. I wanted to put minutes, but because it's saying how long, but it's 12 to 15 questions. 12 to 15 questions, okay? Why is it important to be honest during the background survey and the level of self-rating? Why is it important? Let's start with the first part. Why is it important to be honest? Do you remember? Try to answer. Normally we would have you answer in class. I would actually have you ask another student. If all of you are there, I would say, Crystal, please ask Leo question number 1. And then Leo would need to answer it and others can help him. Then I would say, Hiram, please ask Huang question number 2. And that's how we would do the class to help you practice your English. Okay, so it's important to be honest because that's what you will be talking about. The things you choose are how you are going to be, the questions they are going to be asking you are based on that. And you want to make sure you have a level or self-rating that is as close as accurate as possible so that you can be graded and scored accurately. What is the best thing that you have learned so far? So what that means is, out of everything I've already talked about, was there something that you thought was very, very good that you've learned and you're like, wow, I didn't know that. I'm so glad she did this video for us. That's what you can think about. What questions do you still have? Do you still have any questions about what the OPIc exam is and the format, how they're going to be doing it? Do you have any questions? So if you have any questions, now would be a good time to write them down. Or if you wrote them down while I was talking, that is a great idea too. So maybe in our lessons, I would suggest having paper and pen with you, or if you're very good at typing on your computer while listening to the course, you could do that. I'm a paper person. I always have paper. So here's my paper. I always have paper and notes. So I always write notes. So if there's something I don't understand, I write that word down and then I can come back to it with the teacher, or I can look it up myself if I'm not sure. So that is a big study tip for you. That's how I read stories, and I'm a native English speaker. Okay, so we are going on. Okay, tell me something about yourself. So I don't know if you were able to do this in the group session, but I didn't get to hear anything. So I was so sad. Oh, I heard Crystal and she had a great answer. So I was so happy for her. So here is something that you can kind of prepare, because this is a sample question that you will have from the OPIc. Right away, they will say, let's start the interview now. Tell me something about yourself. You can respond to this however you want. Some experts say you should not include why you are taking the exam, but that is up to you, okay? So what we did on Monday is we were practicing this. So if you did this in the group session, great. If you did not, I would like you to start working on this, because this is a question that you will be asked. And Crystal, if you don't mind, because she has done it before, this would be great. It would be great in your group discussion if you didn't talk about it, is how you responded, because examples are great. And I thought that you had a very good example. So what I noticed in Crystal's, and I'd love to hear everybody else's, is that she had a good response that made sense. It was coherent. It makes sense and has cohesiveness. That means it went from one sentence and answer right into the other one. It was like it just went right into the other question and it flowed, and it was really, really good. So if you didn't get a chance to have that in your group session, I definitely want to come back to this. So I think I'm going to make a note on my paper right now about let's start the interview. Okay, and maybe that is something that we can do right away at the beginning when we introduce ourselves. Okay, if you're not prepared or ready for that question, don't stress. Okay, you can just say I need a little more time, or you can just try to do something and then we can help you expand it, or you can practice and then work on it again. Okay, so let's practice some more. So because of everything that happened, we started doing some of these questions when Crystal was in class with me and I couldn't get the rest of you. So these are just questions where you get 2 minutes to respond to each question. These are just sample questions that are from each group of style of questions. So we don't need to answer them today. If you want to watch the video and then pause it and then practice answering these questions on your own, you're welcome to do that. And then if we have like some chat time, you can say, hey, teacher, I answered that question. It was this one about the store or whatever it was about. And then we can go over what your answers were. But in each class after this, we are going to talk a lot about those different questions. So this was more of let's introduce the types of questions kind of, lesson, like here's the kind of question that you're going to get and how would you answer it. So for example, we have description. So let me see here. For in the description, it says, tell me about your local grocery store. What does it look like? What kind of things can you buy there? What does a usual shopping trip look like for you? So in my case, I would say, well, my local grocery store is very, very big. And my local store has, now see, I used local more than once. I wouldn't really do that in an interview. So when I was talking with Crystal, I only used my store once. So let me start over. So normally you would not get to start over, but this is good practice when we're talking with each other, right? So my grocery store is very large. My grocery store has so much food in it. When you go in, there are many aisles. There are lots of fruits and vegetables. There is a deli where you can buy fresh cut meat. And there's even places you can buy decorations for birthday parties and cards to give to others. My grocery store is very special. I like to go there a lot. My usual shopping trip involves my family. But if I bring them with me, I usually buy more than I should because everyone wants to buy something special. My favorite thing to buy at the grocery store is ice cream. So that's how you can go from one question and sentence to another. So, and figure out what you would answer. Okay, so that is a description kind of question, describing what it looks like. I could have even gone into more depth, like my grocery store has many bright lights. Every time I go in, I can easily see everything, and it's cold by the freezer section. So I could comment more and describe more. But we're going to keep going. So we have likes and dislikes. I would like to know about where you live. What are some of the advantages and disadvantages of living in your neighborhood? So this one you can think about, where do you live? Your likes and your dislikes. So first you can talk about your neighborhood and then the advantages of living where you do and the disadvantages, like why is it good to live there? Why is it bad to live there? And then summarize it or put something fun on the end that can tell the listener more about where you live. Okay? So then we have changes over time. This kind of question, so this is just a sample question. The likes and dislikes is just a sample question they might ask you. Remember, they're asking you questions based on that survey, but these are really good questions that you can practice with. Okay? All right, so changes over time. Okay, this one, what kinds of vacations did you go on as a child? What did you enjoy doing most? How about now? What kind of trips do you like to take now, and what do you like to do on vacation? There's a lot of questions in there, and sometimes all those questions distract us and we start to think of an answer and then we're like, can you repeat that? So there are a lot of questions in there. So try to think and summarize what you need to say as you're listening, or start with one point and then work your way into another. They might only ask you one of these first and then go into the next question. Okay, so they're just showing you one big question now. So we're going to practice all of this and talk about how you would do that. So when we get to the week in the lesson that has changes over time, you will have questions similar to this. What did you like most in the past? What about now? Things like that. And what do you like to do? What will you do in the future? So changes over time, past, present, future. So that would be important for your tenses for sure, practicing that past tense. Role play. Imagine you need to go to your local library to check out a book for a research project you need to complete. What kind of questions would you need to ask the librarian to get the correct books? So you're going to ask her 3 to 5 questions. So in this one, they want you to pretend you're going to the library and that you're going to ask someone for a special book that you need. So role playing in this sense, I said earlier it was the testing, but the role playing is actually going to be you pretending you are someone else. And what would you do? Okay, and then the last, I think there's one more slide. Nope, I got them all. Okay, I got them all. And that's the last one. Okay, so that is the OPIc, the overview. So I hope that was helpful. Okay, so I wanted to make sure that I got that information to you so that if you missed it, you could look it over, read it. If you have any questions, you wrote down those questions so we can go over those at our next lesson, which is Wednesday. Okay, so here is the thing. I will also send you a link. If you did not do the pre-class work yet, I will send that link out to you. Make sure you look it over. It also has questions you can use in your group session. All right, so I hope that you enjoyed this. I'm going to make another video showing you how you can download things, and then also, you know what, actually maybe I'll do it now and just tack it on here. Then it's just one video to watch. So if you've been watching, great job. Thank you for listening to me talk. So, okay. So on Hallo, I'm going to share my screen again. Okay, I love sharing it like this. It's great. Okay, there we go. All right, so on Hallo, what you see here is the first page. So when you go to hallo.video, this is what I see because it's my account. You're going to go to your schedule. What happens with me is I go to my schedule, okay? And if I click on view schedule, it shows me like this, my classes, okay? So if I click on this and scroll down, it shows me a link that says download materials. If you click on this, I see this because I'm the teacher. I don't know if you see both of these options. If you do, you can download and look at both of them if you want to see what I'm saying. I will be sharing this with you anyway, but if you want to see it beforehand, you can do that. If you don't have that link and it's only homework, the homework link, then just do the homework link. But the homework is the one that you would want to click on and save and then open it, okay? And then go through that, and it will also have your group session information in there. And then if you have any questions about anything, you can make sure that you ask those questions. And I'm excited to hear what you did in the group chat. I also wanted to let you know the following things, okay? So you had some questions. I just want to make sure I go over some of these questions. So this is my schedule here. The little green ones are my private lessons, but you can request a lesson. So if for some reason you don't see availability, like there's no green, as long as it works in my schedule, let me go back to my bio here, my profile, I call it bio, but profile. If I go in here, and you can view my schedule or you can request a lesson, okay? So I can give you like my schedule where I know for sure it won't work. I have to figure out Korean time versus my time, but then you would know for sure that it won't work. So if you request it, I can't accept it. So I would have to decline it. It doesn't mean I don't like you. It just means I can't do it at that time. Okay, so we can try again and connect. But once we get connected, or if you want to ask me in our group chat what a good time would be, I can let you know in there. And that's if you want extra help on the side where it's just you and I one-on-one. So I also wanted to show you something very cool if you don't know about this. Is when you look at the teachers, because you're new to Hallo, when you come here, okay, here's my home button I clicked on. When I click on Discover, that is where you see the courses. So like our course will be starting soon. Here is our course here. So just in the link I sent, you can ask other people to come join you. I think they get a discount or it's free or you get something. I don't know, but it ends soon. So we have one spot left. If you think someone would be interested that you know, please invite them to come on in before our class starts tomorrow. It'd be awesome to see them, okay? Now, whenever you click on home, right here, this is the very first time you go there, this is what you see. If you click on teachers, this is all just the teachers streams, okay? If I click on my face, like a teacher's face, that's their profile. So you can follow them. So let me show you that. So make sure you're following me, all right, as your teacher. So I know I'm your course teacher, but make sure you follow me, because then when I go live, these lives are not course lives, they're extra lives where I teach other things or I just come in and chat. It might be where I'm asking you questions. Hey, how did your group chat go? Do you have any questions about our lesson? I could be doing something like that. But the way to find it is to follow me. So you will get a notification when I go live. And then you can click on it and go into the live. And what's exciting is because you are my course students, you get to hop on. So I'm going to show you that. But you get to hop on and then you get to speak. So Leo got to do that in one of my lives and it was really cool. All the students, Leo, if you're listening, they all wanted to know where you were today when I had my live. Where's Leo? What's he doing? Okay, so it's really fun because you get to comment and they ask you questions and you could talk even more. So you get more speaking practice if you have time to do that. Okay, you don't have to, it's just if you want to. So right now you see all. The blue button is selected. That means anyone having a live is this little red rectangle. If you're on your phone, it will just be a red circle, okay? If you click on teachers, that is the teachers that are available right now if you see live. Right now, no one is available. They must all be sleeping. Like I need to go to bed soon because I have to teach at 3 a.m. tomorrow morning. Okay, so I did a live called Culture Shock. It started out like that, but then I had a lot of other questions. So I really only asked 3 questions about culture because I think that only one person who was in my stream, look, 935 people watched it, but only a couple people had been out of their country. So I was like, well, maybe we should talk about other things. So that's me. But you are welcome to look at any teacher's live stream. You can just only get on and talk with me during one. Okay, so what does that look like? So I will show you. I'm going to go to a student one. Here are the student ones. Here is where you can join someone else. Maybe you met someone else in one of these classes and you're like, wow, that person seems interesting. If you click on their picture, it will pop them up and you can follow them. When you click on follow, when they start a live stream, you will get notified. Okay, so if you click on a lot of them and follow a lot of people, you will get a lot of notifications. Or you can turn your notifications off if you don't want to worry about it, okay? So you can follow someone and get notified. So right now, Rayan is doing English. He was actually in my live earlier today. So sometimes I like to go into the student lives and see if they have any questions, they need any help, or I just say hi. So if I clicked on here, it would open.
Interesting.
And then there's a hop
Why
on
isn't Adam here? What happened?
button. So if I click that,
I don't know.
you click that when you are in my class, you will get to come in and talk, just like the student on this picture here is talking.
Yeah, we look like the picture you actually
And you can hear
you had
them.
a picture at
Oh,
the
I don't.
Okay. All right. You can follow them. You have to
Yeah, I
follow
do.
someone to comment
yeah.
for them to see your comments.
So I had an
So for
idea how
students, I'm going to
generally.
go back out because there's an echo maybe. For students, you can hop on any students. It doesn't matter if you are a course student with a student because they're a student. So you can go in and you can chat with other students. You can do that with each other that way. You can do your group session. And some teachers say the group sessions are so amazing that the students are like, hey, I'm going to start a group chat in Hallo. Make sure you come in. I'll label it. Let's do more group or whatever you want to make for a label. And you get to go in. Okay? So when you go in, then you guys can still keep chatting if you want to. You can invite other people in if you want. I mean, people will come and watch it and they will make comments. You can say hi, that you're just practicing for your course, and they might leave and then or people might stay. You don't have to you can just, I would at least say hi to them maybe, but they can hop in and talk too if you want to talk with someone. But that's how you do it. So I would suggest just playing around and looking at it that way. Okay, but that's what that means. It says hop on, and if you come into mine, I'm asking them to make sure that I can see that you are a dreamer so that I know it's you. So if you come into mine and I don't notice that it's you, because some students have the same name, there's a lot of Leos, there are some Crystals. I think there's only one Hayrum. So if you come in and you just put, hi teacher, it's Hayrum from OPIc. Or then I'll be like, oh, you need to hop on. I will click the button so you can talk in class in my live. So that's how that works. I just wanted to explain all that to you in case you had any questions. Okay. And then let's see what else. If you click on Discover, that was other courses that you can take. The ones that say Korean students are the ones that we've made specifically time for you and the times you requested. You can look at any teacher's live stream. This is the other thing I wanted you to know. So you have courses with me, but you can watch any teacher's stream. So if I was on home and teachers, I can tell you I really like listening to Teacher Riza. I like Teacher Stephanie. I like a lot of the teachers, obviously, but Teacher Riza is my really good friend. Her and I live actually pretty close to each other. So you can go in and watch this. So you can click on her face. Okay, I'm going to pause it so it doesn't make any noise for a second, and it will start. And Teacher Riza likes to do some music in her classes all the time. Okay, so there she is. All right, so this is her class, but if I clicked on her face, it will open up and it will show her, and you can click follow. And then if you go down, you will see all the different live streams that she has done. You can find something you think would be interesting and start watching it. You don't have to watch the whole thing. You can do this with any teacher. Okay, it's a great way to listen to conversations and learn things. Okay, and then if you see something that says course with a lock button on it, that is like your course. It's there for you to review. For her, those are her students for that course. They're the only ones who can see that video. Okay, for us, let me show you ours and what happened. Oh, let me go. I'm going to go back to home first, and then I will go view profile. Okay, so here you will see ours. Okay, so what happened was this very first one, I left them here for now so you could see this is sort of what it would look like. Okay, so here's our very first one. This is like when I was testing it, and then I got out, and then I came back, and then the students started to come in. So this one is only 30 seconds, so you can't really watch it. The other one, so I don't know if you can see my pointer. You may not be able to. So there's you can see culture shock, listen, OPIc check-in. That's when I was like trying to just check in and see if you guys, how you were doing, but I don't think you got notified. So make sure you're following me. And then here's our course. So if you click on this, normally it would be a whole recording of our lesson. But what happened, because you got kicked out, is it only recorded like 3 minutes, I think, 2 or 3 minutes. So that's why I made this recording for you. Normally we would have that whole conversation between each other, and you would get that recording that you can go back and watch anytime. All right, so that's what this is for. You won't, I'm going to send you the link. I'm going to upload this to YouTube. So that's what you're watching, I'm assuming now, is on YouTube. So if for some reason you cannot watch YouTube, I'll find out tomorrow, I guess. Okay, or you'll let me know. But that's where you will see them. Then you can click on them and watch something again. Okay, for this one, that first lesson, it's going to be that YouTube video link, just because it didn't work and record correctly. I'm not sure exactly what happened. We're still trying to figure it out. Tomorrow should be a better day. Wednesday should be better. Okay, so that's what I wanted to tell you. So I hope that helps you navigate Hallo a little bit better. If you have any questions about the phone app, you can watch on a phone app at any time. You don't need your computer for the lives that are with students or the teachers. For your course, highly recommend using your computer if you have one, because that will help you see the screen bigger. Otherwise, it's really small, like the size of your phone, okay? And it might be hard to read the questions, okay? All right, so I am so happy and excited because I know it's gonna work tomorrow. I hope so. All right, I've been talking a long time. I need a drink of water. All right, you guys, I will see you on Wednesday. Have a good evening or day, whatever time it is there. It's 8:32 p.m. for me, and I'm going to say see ya tomorrow. All right, thanks for watching. Bye, guys.